Now, Jay-Z has been added to a lawsuit and is being accused of raping a 13-year-old girl back in 2000 along with Diddy. Now, remember, this was originally filed just accusing Diddy. And as of yesterday, they added Jay-Z to the accusation. So we talked about this story before. Basically, Jane Doe, the accuser, says that Jay-Z sexually assaulted her after a 2000 MTV Video Music Awards at a house party. The original lawsuit was filed back in October, and it only named Diddy as a defendant. But, with a quickness, Jay-Z responded. And he was very clear. He said, quote, he's like, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a, quote, lawyer named Tony Busby. And what he calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud that you are in a very public fashion. So, no, I will not give you one red penny. The allegations were so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whoever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Wouldn't you agree? And he said the alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. So, he continues on and talks about how he's done his research on this lawyer, and these are the type of theatrics that he does. And he says, my only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I have to sit down with our children, whom are at the age where friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and the greed of people. So I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure at such a young age. He says, my heart and support goes out to any victims of the world who have to watch their life story, play out. But at the end, he just wraps it up with, I look forward to showing you just how different I am.
It was like, in the thing, he was like, I'm from Brooklyn. We don't play with kids like that.
Yeah.
In front of projects, we protect children, we protect families. Now, you may agree or disagree with that, but that was the mode he was in. And he definitely, the whole statement came out minutes. I honestly was looking, I couldn't really find when this allegation exactly posted public, but most of my feed said 30 minutes. This was posted 31 minutes after.
He moved quick.
It was quick.
Yeah.
And someone said in our chat, Bascom, our camera guy, said it was almost as if he was waiting. And my response was, my guess is he was. Because, two things. Now we're hearing that maybe this was moving around last week and he was aware of it. But number two, Jay-Z's aware of the conversation that happens, and a lot of people have been waiting and praying on his downfall. And then when's he going to get named? When is he going to be in one? He has to go. So my guess is, guys, I think he wrote that fresh, but my guess is he was prepared that someone was going to shoot their shot.
No, he knew. Because remember, the guy, Tony Busby, reached out to Jay-Z to try to get this settled behind the scenes.
Yeah,
right.
He was trying to get money.
Then he officially knew. That's last week, I think.
And then they filed a suit against him for doing that in California.
Right. They basically looked at it as a shakedown.
Yeah. So
and then filed suit against him.
So he knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time till, they came after him.
It's going to be interesting.
And the response from Tony Busby, he basically says in one point, he was like, my friend sent a letter to his lawyer demanding, on behalf of the alleged victim, that the victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. To do what?
She sought a confidential mediation?
So basically, it was like, all we wanted was a confidential mediation.
Yeah, money.
Money!
Not just have a conversation?
Bro.
Look, I would say my biggest problem in all of this is the clown show that sexual assaults have become.
Yeah.
I don't know why so many people want to see Jay-Z get torn down.
That's the part I'm stuck on.
It's a nature of our culture that we aren't wanting to examine. It's disgusting. People love a teardown. Of somebody successful who maybe you don't like all his business dealings. Maybe you know, and some people are upset with their own lives, and so they see someone else seemingly having a phenomenal run at life, and they don't want to see it for whatever reason. So I would say in all of this, it still takes me back to how upsetting it is that sexual assault is a game.
Yeah, it's used. It's just kind of used as like a piece for trying to bring someone down, get some money, conversation. And obviously there's so many real victims. And by the way, we don't know the story with this one. We obviously don't. But what I was struck by, too, was the waiting that, they were salivating when the story came out.
What strikes me, and anybody that, I'm not, by any far stretch, that close to litigation and lawsuits. But everyone, I think it's pretty common knowledge that the farther you try to shoot your shot in litigation and lawsuits, like you put a big number on it, so at least you land at a number that you're happy with, right? You hear like, I'm suing for $50 million, but really they're just hoping to get 5. But they throw out the big number to hopefully settle on the little one. In this lawsuit, it's been public that this woman went to a Diddy party after the VMAs. She showed up to the VMAs. She was 13 years old. She didn't have a ticket, is the way the story goes. Her story, by the way.
Yeah.
Meets limo drivers who then say, hey, you're Diddy's type, according to her, and they take her to a house where there's a party going on. She has a drink, gets woozy, she says, and then passes out in a bedroom. The original allegation was that Diddy then goes in the bedroom, undresses her, sexually assaults her. She leaves. And while another celebrity woman watches, she leaves, goes to a gas station, calls her dad, is what the original allegation was. Somewhere along the line, they decided to just add Jay-Z to this. So then when you hear the behind the scenes.
So are you suggesting that the story was out in full and there was no mention that another person was involved?
That's what I read. The only other person was a woman celebrity that watched.
Yeah, okay. That sounds familiar.
So now they add another big name celebrity to it, Jay-Z, in hopes that they can get a financial settlement. Because who does that benefit?
Tony Busby?
The lawyer that has the Diddy hotline.
The one who has over 100 lawsuits against Diddy.
Well, and also with Diddy at this point, I wonder if that well is drying up because Diddy's not fighting these people back and settling anymore. There's too many, right? I can't imagine every single one Diddy's lawyers are going to war over and making settlements on. There's too many things. I wonder if that becomes an unappealing route for the lawyer to go. But if you mix in somebody else who has everything to lose still, because
you might still get a bag.
And
which is Jay's point in his response, which is, nah, bro, bring the criminal charges.
Right. Jay's point is, I'm not going to be intimidated by the fact that you thought I would be so scared of these headlines even coming out.
Right.
That I would settle. No, I know the headlines are coming out, and that's why I'm going to immediately respond. So the same articles that write about it have to include my immediate response. I'm not going to let it sit for 3 days on the front page of every paper in the country.
And not some generic response.
Very much not generic. Very Brooklyn.
Very direct.
And very direct.
I thought it was listen, what the hell do I know? But I always feel like if people are offended by accusations, I never understand why the advice is to sit quiet while the fire spreads. You better jump out and throw water on that thing right away, and I think that was exactly the right thing to do.